There's nothing to be scared of. You can do it.
With today being Father's Day, I thought now would be the best time to talk about Gregory's robo-dad, Glamrock Freddy himself. During the events of Security Breach's story, Freddy sort of takes up a fatherly role to Gregory. So with all that in mind, I'm not going to waste any more of your guys' time, and we're just going to climb on in. Glamrock Freddy resembles a orangish-brown humanoid bear. He does have sharp claws, pronounced canines, and sports some neon blue face paint. He is also dressed in shoulder pads and of course has his signature bow tie and top hat. Glamrock Freddy, of course, is the lead singer and performer in the Mega Pizzaplex's Glamrock band. Now, something I want to quickly bring up before we go deeper into the discussion and Freddy's lore in Security Breach is the fact that the Glamrock animatronics have hyper-advanced AI being artificial intelligence. Now, I go deeper into the AI and how I think it works in my Endoskeletons Explained video, so if you want to learn more of how I think the AI on the Glamrocks operates, go check out that video. But to roughly sum things up, the Glamrock animatronics have AI that is so advanced that they are basically human. With characters like Roxanne Wolf and Glamrock Freddy showing empathy, being able to have full-on conversations with the guests at the Mega Pizzaplex, having their own unique and distinct personalities, and even seemingly being able to experience pain. Security Breach opens up with the Glamrock animatronics getting ready to put on a show, and during said performance, Freddy begins to malfunction, to the point of him actually shutting down. Sometime later, Freddy would reactivate, only to find that there is a small child hiding inside of his stomach hatch. When questioned about this, the kid simply responds that while Freddy was sleeping, he decided to crawl inside of the stomach hatch, with Freddy becoming very concerned for the kid's safety, stating that it is not a safe place to be, and that actually the stomach hatch was designed to hold large cakes and piñatas. Freddy then proceeds to open his stomach hatch, allowing the kid to crawl on out. And upon further questioning, the kid's name is actually revealed to be Gregory. And Gregory is hiding from Vanessa, the Mega Pizzaplex's security guard, with Freddy originally responding with that Vanessa can actually help Gregory leave the Pizzaplex, but Gregory does not want anything to do with Vanessa and has a really bad feeling about her. So this leads to Freddy actually helping Gregory himself, and the two make their way over to the lobby of the Mega Pizzaplex. Unfortunately though, Freddy does have to go and charge himself up because the recharge cycle was not complete when Freddy found Gregory. So Gregory has to continue by himself towards the main lobby. Unfortunately though, Gregory arrives just a few seconds behind schedule and the building locks up for the night, with Freddy informing Gregory that the doors will not reopen until 6 a.m.
How unfortunate, Gregory. You missed your chance. But there is still hope. You should be able to escape when the security doors reopen at 6 a.m. Until then, keep moving and try not to draw attention to yourself. If there is another way out, I will help you find it. I promise.
Now, I really don't want to go into elaborate details on everything that Gregory and Freddy did during their night at the Mega Pizzaplex because this takes place over several hours of gameplay, and if I recounted every single event, we'd be here all night. And this all leads to basically Freddy and Gregory going on an adventure that lasts only a few hours. Gregory basically has to go and grab stuff for Freddy, as Freddy will inform Gregory that in order to go to this location, you need a pass of this higher status. To go into this location, you need a lower status pass. To go into this location, you have to complete a puzzle or minigame. Very basic stuff like that. And Gregory is just kind of being protected by Freddy throughout the whole night. With Freddy kind of being the inside man, he knows where Gregory should go in order to access certain things and to get certain items to progress through the Mega Pizzaplex. Something that also makes Freddy more like a father to Gregory is during a scene in which Freddy and Gregory are in Parsons' service. And in this room, Freddy and Gregory stumble across blueprints for the glamrock animatronics having special abilities that are from new parts that they have been outfitted with Gregory stating that he wants to actually give these parts to Freddy, and Freddy could become a lot stronger and more powerful. But Freddy does not want these parts. Freddy says that the reason why he doesn't want them is that those parts don't belong to him and they belong to his friends. And you could even say that this is Freddy teaching Gregory that just because you want something doesn't mean you should always take it, but also that Freddy still holds high regards for his friends, for Monty, Roxy, and Chica. Despite them being hacked by Vanny and how aggressive they've been throughout the night, he doesn't hold that against them and he still deems them as his friends, which is really emotional and just shows you how advanced the AI in these characters is.
Check out these pictures. Chica has some sort of special voice box. Roxy has new eyes. And Monty was given better claws. We have to get these. We can upgrade you.
Gregory, those parts belong to my friends. I would never do anything to hurt them.
What? All they've done all night is try to hurt me. They get what they deserve.
There must be a good explanation. They are not capable of hurting a guest.
Once it reaches 6 a.m., Gregory is allowed to leave the Mega Pizzaplex, and this is where things get really sad. Gregory wants Freddy to come with him to leave the Mega Pizzaplex, but Freddy sadly tells Gregory that that would not be possible and that he would shut down within an hour without a recharge station. And Gregory tries to get Freddy to come with him, but Freddy is like, I must stay here. This is where I'm supposed to be. And unfortunately, it is my design. Do not come back here. It will never be safe, and I will miss you.
Freddy, if I leave now, nothing will change, will it? There will be more disappearances.
Yes, I am afraid that is correct.
And whilst Gregory can choose to leave the Mega Pizzaplex, I don't think this is the preferred ending many people are going to go for. From here on out, you can actually branch out into various different endings depending on how the player chooses to play the rest of the game. However, in the regular ending, where Gregory just leaves the Pizzaplex, it is revealed that Gregory has no place to go and is eventually found and presumably killed by Vanny in an alleyway. Now, out of all of the different endings that the player can choose to pursue, it is commonly believed within the FNAF community that the Princess Quest ending is the canonical end to Security Breach's story, wherein Gregory has to find all 3 of the Princess Quest arcade cabinets scattered throughout random locations in the Mega Pizzaplex. And once Gregory beats all of these arcade cabinets successfully, the antagonist of Security Breach, Vanessa/Vanny, will be free of Glitchtrap's control and influence over her mind and soul. And Vanessa will become a good person again and seemingly adopt Gregory as her son. And they will take the severed head of Freddy with them to presumably live a happily ever after, showing the trio sitting on a hilltop watching the sunset as they enjoy ice cream cones. By the time we get to the events of Security Breach Ruin, Glamrock Freddy's body is in quite a bad state, buried under some debris in the ruins of Fazer Blast. When Cassie originally encounters the body of Glamrock Freddy, he is not functioning at all, he's just laying there. But when he hears Cassie's voice, he begins to contort as he pulls the debris off of himself and starts to chase Cassie, all while roaring angrily at her, with his stomach hatch kind of becoming a makeshift mouth. Now here's where things get eerie and strange. Once Cassie and the torso of Glamrock Freddy converge on the location of the inhibitor, Cassie is able to access the Vanny mask once more, and upon going into the Vanny network, the torso of Glamrock Freddy just vanishes. It ceases to exist, and this also extends to the real world in which he does not exist either anymore. It is super bizarre, and there's never a reason given as to why this occurs. Another thing to make Murder Torso over here even stranger is the fact that he is seemingly a prototype. He has the word prototype written on the bottom of one of his feet. And this has left the FNAF community debating for quite some time whether the version of Freddy that we see during the events of the original Security Breach is actually a final release of Freddy, or if it is just a prototype. Obviously, if you don't know what a prototype is, in this case, it is simply just a version of the character that they make to test the technology and all this other stuff. So with that in mind, does that mean that Freddy this whole time was actually a prototype and wasn't supposed to be used at that specific location? Or it could also just be that this was a different version of Freddy that also happened to be decapitated for whatever reason. A separate entity from the version of Glamrock Freddy that went to live with Gregory and Vanessa. Nonetheless, this all makes ruined Glamrock Freddy a very eerie and mysterious character as a whole. During the events of Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2 VR, we would be able to see Glamrock Freddy yet again. And this was actually in the minigame Cold Storage, in which we were tasked with removing the delicious ice cream cake from Glamrock Freddy's stomach hatch. This ice cream cake was actually for Little Jimmy's birthday party, as Freddy puts it. I do love ice cream cakes myself. I bet this one was freshly delivered straight from Dairy Queen to the Mega Pizzaplex. The player must first defrost both of Freddy's forearms with the heat gun. Once this is done, this will allow the player to access the arms, which can be opened up using shape tools. Upon doing this, you must take out the old batteries and replace them with new ones. The player must also defrost the ice faculty battery that it is stuck to before replacing it with the diagnostic machine. Then it must be inserted into Freddy's right arm. After both tasks are done, the player must press a button on the mini monitor to their left. As it starts to load, sparks will start appearing near the battery, so the player must keep that area cool where the battery is inserted. Once the mini monitor has fully loaded, the player must press the button to its right, letting them remove Freddy's eyes and therefore honk his nose. Gaining access to his mouth beneath it is a button the player must quickly press as to not get bitten by Freddy. When this has been accomplished, the player can remove the stomach hatch and cool down the wirings inside. The hatch opens after a short amount of time, finally letting the player take out the birthday cake. However, Freddy will receive a cake removal alert, and the cake to the right must be put inside his chest cavity. Glamrock Freddy congratulates the player as the level ends. And I guess this brings us to the world of the spin-off games. Point in question, specifically Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach Fury's Rage. This was a game that was meant to hold fans over until the actual release of the Security Breach game. This basically takes the 4 glamrock animatronics, Glamrock Freddy, Glamrock Chica, Roxanne Wolf, and Montgomery Gator, and turns them from lovable animatronic mascots into jacked killing machines. With Glamrock Freddy looking hella cut, he still looks like Glamrock Freddy from the final release of Security Breach, except he is jacked. He has ripped abs, muscles that bulge, he's got fingerless gloves, he's got spiked cuffs around his wrists, he's wearing jeans, he's got a denim jacket, he is ready to tussle and leave no survivors. Other than Security Breach Fury's Rage being a fighting game, it really has no bits of lore or story to it other than mindless action. In the world of the books, Glamrock Freddy would make numerous cameo appearances in the anthology horror series Five Nights at Freddy's Tales from the Pizzaplex, and he appeared in various stories such as Lally's Game, Under Construction, Somnophobia, GGY, The Storyteller, Tiger Rock, The Monty Within, Bleeding Heart, and Alone Together. Whilst Glamrock Freddy, along with the other Glamrock animatronics, make numerous cameoed appearances throughout the many short horror stories that make up the Tales from the Pizzaplex anthology series, the most notable appearance of Glamrock Freddy as a villain and/or antagonist is during the events of GGY, where he is a prominent threat to the main character, Tony. Tony discovers that someone under the initials GGY has high scores on several of the arcade machines. As Tony is investigating, he bumps into Glamrock Freddy. Tony is initially unsettled as he stares at him in complete silence. The next time Tony goes to the Pizzaplex, he sneaks into one of the kiosks to look for the initials GGY in the establishment's database. Once he's done, he notices that Glamrock Freddy is walking towards him. When he tries to run, Glamrock Freddy starts sprinting. Tony is able to evade him and escapes, but Glamrock Freddy continues to watch him whenever Tony is in the Pizzaplex. It is later revealed in the story that Glamrock Freddy isn't doing these things of his own free will, but is instead being controlled by Gregory under the name GGY through rogue programming in his systems. But there you have it, everything you could ever want or possibly need to know about Glamrock Freddy, Five Nights at Freddy's very own Robo-Dad. And I can definitely see why most people gravitate to this version of the Freddy Fazbear character, as the franchise has been around for a decade now at the time of this recording, and so many different versions of Freddy have been released. But out of all of those versions, Glamrock Freddy stands out, I think, to most people because of how human he is, how much character and charm he has as a character, that makes more people empathize with him as a character and become more closer to him. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Happy Father's Day. Do take care, and I'll see you in the next video.